All right, you guys, it is me, and I am back with part two. Now I'm about to go in deeper. I'm about to fucking go in deeper. Listen, Spirit just hit me with this one. I had forgot about it altogether. How many years in the prophecies about Israel did it say that we were going to be serving in a foreign land? If you want a hint, look at the number on the top of this card. But I know that all those who tuned into this reading that are called to this, I know that some of you guys are already going to know that answer. 400 years, it was said that we would serve. I got a chance to watch this brother by the name of Coach in the Fight. Apparently, according to his calculations, this year marks the 400th year. In some capacity, he could be wrong, I could be wrong. But it's a mark, it's a sign, it's a part of the sealing. Something that we should take note of. Okay? Astrology is also a part of the sign, mark, and signature of God. That's the reason why I have never been able to not deal with astrology ever since I've been introduced to it. Because it never sat right with me that apparently it was of the devil. Not to say that people cannot misappropriate this information and abuse it, but that was never my stilo. That was never my style. So I know that I'm a lover of God. You feel me? So I never had to be concerned about that. Boom, boom. Moving on though. Moving on. And right now, part of the message that I have to share is that astrology is all intertwined with creation itself, with the way that God actually speaks to all of us. Okay? And the initiated understand this. And this used to be something that the whole nation of Israel was privy to. Maybe there were different levels, right? The teachers may have known a bit more, those who were initiated into the higher realms, to the mystery schools. However, on a very formal level, the whole nation of Israel was aware. And not even just Israel. There was a time where this was world knowledge. Okay? So moving on. To get into this Sagol, when I looked up the word Sagola is what came up. So let me go to Exodus 19 on my phone this time so I can show you guys how I was able to look it up in the Strongs. Let me go to my Bible app. Done. Let me go to verse 5. All right, so it's the word I want to say connected to the treasure. So let's go here. Yeah, it is. So H549. So let me go look that up. Let me put something in here that will mark this. I'll put this here. Let's go to 55429. That's where we're headed. And this is the Strong's Concordance, just the book part. 5429. Where my highlighter at? Right here. Okay. 5429. Here's 5434. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I just looked at the right thing. Go to the Bible. Verse 5. Oh, thank goodness I was wrong. Tell me something. It's actually this one right here, and it's 5459. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's really bright. But let's see. Look at the one that says 5459. That's the word we're going to be looking for, baby. Because I was about to say, that is not the word that we're looking for. Here we go. 5459. They spell it slightly different in this book, but that's okay. Segula. It's spelled with what looks like a C and then I'm sure a mark underneath it. Egullah. Y'all can't see that. Hold on, guys. So in the Strongs, the new and updated little Strongs or whatever, not that that's even, that may not be better. That may have been more divisive, but there's the word highlighted. Segula, and it's pronounced segula. Segula. Now let me read to y'all. So it means treasure. Oh no, I misplaced wherever this one was. I think this was with Meta. Oh well, it's over. Listen to this. Here's what segula means. It means to shut up, to shut up, to shut up wealth, as closely shut up. Jewel, peculiar, treasure, proper, good, and special. So also let me be very clear. To shut up is also connected to the definition of to seal, a seal of some sort. Okay. When I went to look into all those words, when I was looking up the scripture about, Revelations 9 and 4, where God was telling, or the Spirit of God was telling the angels to hurt not the grass. And basically also, it said, hurt not the grass until, the chosen of God are sealed, or something to that effect. Okay. In another scripture, it says, hurt not. It says basically only hurt the people who don't have this particular seal. Okay. When I went to look into seal and what it meant, there were other words, that the Strong's Concordance leads me to and that led me to. And one of them was definitely about fencing in, or to shut up, or to silence in a way, right? But shutting up means like closing off, okay? Making a distinction. So anyway, that's just that with that. Now, the gullah part, there is an actual word in scripture for gullah. And it deals with, I don't even want to tell y'all what it deals with. I want to take you guys to the scriptures. But I'm going to see if I can find a word about it. First, I'm going to see if I can find something connected to this. Let's go to the Strong's Concordance. Let's go to ours and let's look at. I don't even know where to go, but. All right, let me just go here because I feel like it could be a starting point for me. So 1350. Let's get up into that. Let's see how far away. Here you go. Here it is. So Gola, Gola. It means to exile, right? and collect exiles, carried away, captive or captivity or removing. Gola, and that's 1473. Okay, let me go ahead and go back and look. So this is the word Gola, Gola, which I don't know if you guys have already figured out what I'm talking about. Let me just highlight it first. Don't even know if you're already hearing what I'm trying to pronounce, but it talked to me. This is about the Gullah, Gullah, the Gullahs. So I need to also go find. I also need to go find the 1540 if I haven't already, but I think I did. Look, 1543. It's really spelled like the Gullah right here. A fountain, a bowl or globe, all as round. A spring. So that's what the Gullah. See, and that makes sense. The Gullah people, I don't know if you guys have realized, but also not even just the Gullah people who I believe are connected to the children of Israel, because they live very much similar to the way that the children of Israel lived. Gullah people, when they were exiled, okay, and whatever they were exiled to, they always lived around water. Whether it was a fountain, a lake, a spring, a river, they always lived and congregated around a body of water. They were a coastal people. It's making me think about the Gullah Geechee, okay? So anyways, the people of the spring or the people of living of the river, that's what I'm getting from that. But anyway, let's go back and look at 1540. Gullah, as in, it's spelled that one's spelled different. It says, to exile, captives being usually stripped. It also can mean figuratively, to reveal, to advertise, appear, bewray, bring, carry, lead, go captive, go into captivity, shamelessly, remove, uncover, surely, tell, bring over, carry away. All of this is telling the story of exactly what happened to the children of Israel. Now, while in our history as so-called African American people, I don't know about y'all, but I was taught that I was African. I was taught that I was a descendant of a slave. And I was taught that I was carried away from my homeland of Africa to over here in America. However, there is information coming up more and more so now that is suggesting that, in fact, we were descendants of people who were already here in this particular land, and instead we were being shipped all over the world. Like we were being shipped from here, America, so-called America, into other aspects of land. And to be honest, they could have picked up people from all over the world and was shipping them all across. But either way, it's been talking about this concept of being stripped of something, stripped of your heritage, even stripped to your clothes, stripped down to nakedness, and then advertised. Right? So, and then it's not just that. It's like a formula. Do you understand? There is a formula. There's a formula that must have been had. Even the so-called German Jews, or the so-called, who Hitler was supposedly killing off and shit like that. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but those people, to my knowledge, they weren't a people who lived by the spring. And maybe I don't know, and I don't want to be presumptuous, so let me chill with that. I don't know their plight. I don't know where they used to live, okay? I don't know. So I would have to look into that more. Let me not say that. I retract that statement. As of now, I can go down my heritage now, but I wasn't always. I know that we are connected to the so-called indigenous people of this particular land, especially my people in Texas. and some surrounding areas, Mexico, Arkansas, Oklahoma, whatever. We have ties to all of that, Georgia, okay? Even Ohio. I found all of this out when tracing the lineage of my mom. Okay. My dad, I always knew that he was connected to the tribe of Cherokee because that was an oral tradition that he had been passed down from his parents. And so he shared it with us before he passed. Okay. And people used to think that we was trying to be something other than what we were, not realizing that the whole time we were really who we were saying we was. You know, all in all though, I'm only pointing that out about the way that the so-called Native American Indian or the indigenous Indians of this land, the way that they lived, these people were a coastal people. Not all, but a lot of many tribes lived by water, bodies of water. Okay, even in Egypt, when we got taken out of Egypt and went into the wilderness, eventually the area that we were around, the areas that we frequented and that we settled upon and all that kind of stuff, there was water, spring waters, fountains of water, just like what the Gullah, actually represents. It represents fountains of water, wells, all that shit. Okay, water people. Moving on. I already looked at 1540. We were carried away. There are many of the indigenous people who were carried into South America. Well, people from South America and stuff. They were carried over into the Caribbean, carried over into other places. Portugal, Spain, all of that. Don't get me wrong. It was already... We were everywhere at one point in time, but I'm saying there was, in fact, people who were literally taken away from their land in freaking ships. And it wasn't even just ships. It could be, it was the fact that we were stolen from our land, period, and sold as slaves. Lost our heritage, stripped of who we were, right? We were human fucking trafficked. So, there is something happening, a door that is getting ready to be opened, a path that is getting ready to be freaking cleared, if you ask me, for the chosen people. For the chosen. A path is being made so that we can teach. So that we can be exactly who the Most High called us to be. Now, before I move on, I'm trying to get back to this yod. This right here, because I've talked about the Segullah, right? Which talks about the being treasured, marked, a sign, a seal. And it also, when I went into the Gullah part, it talked about, the spring, the water, the fountain, the captives. So this is another way that we can be marked, because for those of you guys who read your Bibles, okay, you know that the blessing and the mark of the blessing was that, we were going to have all this wealth and all of this abundance and this providence, but the mark of the goddamn curse, which people just want to take the blessings of God, but they don't want to acknowledge the fact that along with a blessing, baby boy and baby girl, there was a cursing. Okay? And especially upon our nation. So I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody who would choose to obey the laws of God will be cursed if they break them, but I think they would, because even in the scripture, whether you were considered goy, which would mean a heathen, or a Gentile, which is not of the same nation, but you chose to come up under the laws of God and the people of God, then you were to receive some of the same exact goddamn treatment, which meant you can receive the blessings. And if you can receive the blessings, damn it, you can receive the cursings. Moving on. Here's what the yod means. So I have this. It is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Numerically speaking, in numerology, 10 can denote completions. It can also indicate wealth and stuff like that. Let's go on. Let's go to let me go to the number 10. And that's if they have that in here. This may not be what that type of numerology book is about. This book is about. So I may have to go get my angel numbers book. Give me one moment. Yeah, no, it's not this. So give me 1 minute. Let me go get my angels number book. It may give us a little bit more insight. Okay, I'm just going to read from this paper because none of the other ones are giving me what I was looking for. So I'm just going to read from what's on the paper. So it says 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The 10th Hebrew letter Yod is a dot or a point. When I was reading some other aspects and some other writers talking about the Yod, they were talking about how Christ was saying that not one jot or tittle from the law would pass away until everything was fulfilled, right? And so a Yod is literally a dot. So it would be like one of the jots or tittles. Moving on. The Yod represents the creator, the single point from which all creation emerges, and the unity within multiplicity. It is the foundation of all foundations, the hidden divine spark which causes everything to be. It represents the power of the Spirit to govern and guide the matter. And Yod is the symbol of the Holy One, the Creator, since the holy name starts with Yod. Small in form, the meaning of God is great. Yod is great, excuse me, or Yod. According to Kabbalistic tradition, all of creation came forth from a single point, a point which represents God's infinite presence inside of the finite world. Okay. So another understanding when I was reading talked about one of my friends talked about Nate. She was sharing with me about the Yod representing the sacred or the hidden seed, right? And that really spoke a lot of volumes to me as well, because I really feel like even the seed of God right now, those who are the children, seed represents lineage, legacy, prodigy and stuff as well, right? Those who are the children of God, they're hidden right now, because in that scripture, in Exodus chapter 19 and 5, it literally stated that we would be the treasured possession amongst all the peoples. The people represents a nation. Peoples mean nation. So it says above all the peoples. So even though there are many nations in the earth, those who are God's seed will be treasured above all peoples. So this nation is supposed to be a nation that the Most High views as higher and more special than all the other peoples. Not to take away from the goodness or the fact that the other people were created, as well. It's just this people is going to be my special and my peculiar people. Okay? That be us. We are hidden. Even right now. And I also feel like that deals with darkness. Darkness. The fact that our skin is dark to me is also a seal. It is also a freaking sign. It is also a freaking mark. Now, when I say dark, I don't mean it just have to be my shade. It can even be those who may look like they have less melanin, but you're still a person with melanin. Melanin is dark. Okay? And as long as you have it inside of you, it's there. Dark matter-ishness. Moving on. That's even a sign or a mark. But also the darkness right now too that I feel is that even the chosen people may not be totally aware that they're chosen. the initiates, the elect of the elect may know. They may have come across this information. They may be privy to this knowledge, but all the people may not know this. And so I think I mentioned it a little bit before in the previous reading that these people who I'm speaking to right now, this message is for those who will be, if you ask me, the governors, the movers and shakers, those who are going to have a position of motherfucking prominence. Oh, don't get it twisted. All of the nation, once it is revealed who God's goddamn people truly are, because it is still hidden right now, everybody in the world who exists out of all the nations of people who shall remain are going to know who God's people are, and you will, and that is going to automatically place us in a position of prominence. But then there is a position of prominence even within that collective of people, and those are the leaders. And this is who this message is for. Okay? The door is opening for that to come forth, guys. That's how I feel. That's the reading. Hopefully this makes some sense. I don't know. I want to look into all the rest of them before I leave y'all alone. Hold on. But I still want to make this kind of quick. So, let me go back here. Here it is. So this word can also deal with the concept of learning as well. So, so I feel like another sign of the chosen, and especially of the elect is the fact, oh, sorry for hitting the table, is the fact that they are open to learning, maybe. That they have this desire to learn, okay, and to get a lot of information. Also, because they have this desire to learn, this is how come they're able to teach. They're a studious people, okay? This is part of what Lamed has to deal with. Here's what it says. The 12th letter of the alphabet is the symbol of learning. It is translated literally as the word for learning and also staff of gold. It is located at the center of the Aleph Bet and represents the heart. In Kabbalah, learning is mostly done with the heart and soul, not just the mind. The Lamed indicates that spiritual learning is the heart of human existence. Man's course in life is to learn, right? This is our burden in life. That when we are sent here, we are meant to learn. That's our burden. And let me be very clear. I feel like that's the reason why, like, the whole earth is supposed to be in an energy of being able to learn. But when you are a slave and when you are bound to work instead, only working, don't get me wrong, we can learn and work, or learn by working too. But I feel like we're not working for the Most High. Right now, we're working for something else. We're working for something in, some other entity. They have us working right now for money. Working to get money, to get things, and have shit that we should already have freely. Because nature provides, right? So, and I mean that for houses. Working to buy land. Don't get me wrong, I mean, that might all still have to happen and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think a lot is going to be going back to the natural way. A lot will be returning to the way that things were, the old paths and stuff like that. But baby, this Dalit is really getting me. Moving on, it says, man's course in life is to learn and express spiritual teachings and practice with every breath. Lamed reaches higher than any other Hebrew letters, like a lighthouse in the air. The shape of the Lamed is an undulating movement, and the Lamed represents constant organic movement or constant change. Lamed, see, the shepherd or our teachers and our learning is what moves us through the door, what progresses us. It's what progresses us. It says, Lamed is the lightning strike of energy descending down the two sides of the tree of life. Lamed teaches us to learn from everything in life. After one has governed their tendencies in Kaf and no longer has the blockages of ego interfering, then they can begin to learn the spiritual perfection of their own self and to learn the laws, will, and ways of the Creator. This is the process of learning to align with the will of the Creator. That's beautiful. So now, what is about to happen, if you ask me, is there's about to be, like, the shepherd is coming. Or the shepherd may not look like, the shepherd may not be this physical person like Moses, or coming out to lead anybody, but it could literally be this awakening of the minds of those who are chosen to get this information and to actually understand it, so that it can cause them to move according to the will of God, which is in fact the door, which is in fact the path. The path will be revealed. The more that we learn and we move, the path is revealed. Let me see what else we have. That was Lamed. We have Tov, and we have, where's Tov? We have Tov. So let's see if I can find that one, honey. Yes, here's Tov. Here's the meaning for Tov. It says Tov is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. 22nd. It's the 22nd letter. Okay. Meaning mark, sign, omen, or seal. It is the symbol of truth, perfection, and completion. So here's the thing. When I was looking into what the seal of God represented, you guys, do y'all want to know what it represented? It represented being marked by knowing the truth, so that we would not be deceived, you guys. That's what it says here. A symbol of truth, perfection, and completion. So part of the seal in this time is going to be that, one, we won't be able to be deceived, because we're already going to be, or if we don't already have the truth, the way that I found that it tends to work is that things are unlocked in us. Information from the divine is deposited or downloaded to us, and then we know how to move. We're not given the truth in one big ass whop. It comes in drops, in gulps, okay? But it's not all given to us at once. So with that being said, in order to receive this information, you'll have to be tapped in, because the seal is all about that space in between our eyes. Inside of our head, though. That's why they use the forehead, because the forehead was the closest physical, concrete thing to that which they're actually talking about, which is our pineal gland. Which is really what helps us to see. That's why it's considered the third eye or what have you. So anyway, long story short, when I was researching the seal and all that it would be, all that it was talking about being able to do, guys, this means that we in the third eye will be able to see clearly. We're going to know what the hell is going on. We're going to be able to get these downloads, understand them, and move accordingly. And that is going to be how we are kept, how we are preserved. And when you obey the instructions that God gives you in these times coming up, this is how you are kept. And in essence, you are keeping in the Torah, because you will be keeping the instructions of God. You will be obeying the instructions of God. As in obey. Anyway, whatever. Let's keep on reading about this Tov. It says, it represents the restoration of all of existence. It is a return to the essence and purpose of one's life. It represents completion before beginning again with the original oneness of the elect. So let's talk about it. If I'm honest, this is definitely making me think about the end of the age, the end of the world, which is what the book of Revelations really talks a lot about. And then the Genesis talks about the beginning of the next world or the beginning of the next age. But how does everything really begin and end? A lot of times it is after destruction. In Genesis, what we are really seeing, if you look into the Hebrew understandings of Genesis, we are seeing Elohim, which on a higher esoteric level, we are seeing the spirits and power and authority of God that we cannot see working through the peoples that are left behind, who survived, who were preserved because of their obedience in these times to their spirit, to their God, okay, their authority. This is who makes it to where they endure all of the catastrophic events that are meant to cleanse, that are meant to purify the earth and the people upon it. Yes. So those who are left, these are the ones, along with the gods that govern them internally, energetically, these are who are left to rebuild and start anew. We're back there again. So remember, this is the overall energy. So the way that the world has been going up until this point, it has come to its completion. And this is on several different levels. The completions are coming. Completions in politics and world government. Completions of the way that the world has been deceived because of the leadership up until this point that has been ruling and governing this place. Creating and taking away laws and shit. And the races and nations of people that have been affected or influenced by said laws. All of this is systematically and energetically coming to its completion and will be destroyed and rebuilt. Moving on. The Tav shows us that the end was set from the beginning, as Tov is the final letter of Bereshit, in the beginning, the first word of the Torah or Bible. It is the idea that the Creator set in motion all of existence in order to reach a final state of perfection, the fulfillment of all of creation. It is also the completion of truth, emet. However, as soon as the Tav is reached, we begin again immediately by going back to the Aleph, the source of everything. And the end is never really the end, but the beginning of something new. So that to me is the Alpha, and it's like the Alpha and the Omega. Moving on, let's get the Dalet. Let's get that. So if it hasn't been made clear, this ending is really just going to be a new beginning. These are extra papers, so I'm going to keep them for Daria to scribble on. Let's go ahead and get the Dalets. And then I'm going to let y'all go. Wait a minute. So, This is for file. See? Guys, I do not know. What is the first one? Well, where is? Okay, guys, I will be right back. I need to find these. All right, you guys, I'm so sorry about that. I do not know what happened, but here is the Dalit meaning, and it is the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it means door. It is the word for door, gate, and it indicates resistance and the state of selflessness and humility needed to pass through it. So I guess that makes me think about that parable that Christ said. Um, it'd be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than somebody, a rich person or whatever. So maybe that would just talk about the humility, maybe, and the arrogance of the wealthy or super rich people. I don't know. It says it indicates how to pass through the gates to know one's own mystery of being and to return to the power of the Aleph, the one source of all creation and being. The Dalet is in the shape of a bent over man, signifying the humility and receptiveness. It represents betul and self nullification or nullification of the ego, necessary to realize one's inherent connection to the Creator. Also, it is the structure, form, and diligence required to receive. Dalit is also Dalit, the poor man, who receives from benevolence of the Creator, represented by Gimel or Gimiel. It is the realization that as humans we have nothing of our own, but are entirely dependent upon the Creator, that every breath and movement is given to us from them. So that makes a lot of sense, especially when we were taken and we were when we went out of the land and we were liberated as a people back in the gap. They didn't have anything at the time. They had no land to go to at the time, to their knowledge. Okay, and they really didn't have anything except for what the people of the land that they were leaving from gave them. And then even once they got into the wilderness, if you will, into this dry place, this barren place of having to start over, the only way that they survived was literally through every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High God. Okay? So it's crazy because that thought had popped up into my mind in the middle of this week. I was being reminded about that's the way that we live. Like that's how all that is in its existence now is continuing to live. Period. And it's even, if you ask me, how we die, which is really an ending here, but a new beginning elsewhere. Right? That's how I feel. But I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Right? There's never really an actual end. So with that being said, even when we pass away, there was a word that was spoken. Maybe the command was given that this breath that we were given here should be taken away. So anyway, we are alive and we die by the word of the Most High. So that was something that I thought was pretty cool. Let's see what else, what else, what else, what else. It says, oh, so that's how we're sustained. That's how we're preserved. That's how we're protected. You know, there are going to be a lot of plagues that come on this world. in the form of ailments, sickness, natural disasters, maybe even goddamn wars and rioting of other people. Okay? But the way that many of us are going to be kept, for those who will be kept in this way where you're kept in the living, the land of the living, it's literally going to be because God already declared that it was going to be so. And so everything is going to move. The universe, the stars, the earth itself, the way that our mind receives messages, the way that our body works, everything will work so that we will remain alive. So that we will continue to have life for those who have been marked and sealed in that way. Here we go. It also says, finally, the dalet represents structure. Its form of a horizontal and vertical line represents a grid or giving structure to the form. It is shaped like a stair step, the structure and overcoming of resistance needed to study. When dalet is in someone's name, it indicates strong will, diligence, perseverance, patience, the ability to concentrate, organization, planning, and building. It shows us the structure and stability required to receive. So, first of all, that's significant for me, personally speaking, because my name has both the yod in it and it has the dalet. The first part of my name starts with the yod, and like the second letter from the last letter is a dalet. And guess what? My vowel, my E sound, it sounds more like this, A. I pronounce my name Jude. Though when I was growing up, it was pronounced Judy. Okay, Judy. Which would have probably been more like a longer E. But the point is, my name is Jude. Jude. Yeah. And mind you, one of the other understandings when I was looking up the yod energy, it also represents a Jew. And it can also deal with the people who are Jews, which is not the Jewish people, by the way. The real Jews. The real chosen people of God. This is talking about the chosen people, and more importantly, the chosen of the chosen. So that has been the reading. Excuse me, I burped a little. That has been the reading. Let me know what you guys think in the forum, in the comments. If I do open up this on YouTube, whatever. I don't think I will, though. I really don't. So you're going to have to be a part of this website in order to see this one. So that's that. With that, peace, love, light, and darkness, which all work together to bring balance and harmony first within ourselves and then within our mother freaking world. All praises to the Most High.